I paid £5 for this Dell laptop. It came with a charger. It's not in very good condition. This is the weirdest repair I've seen. Some kind of hot glue gun maybe, wrapped in tape, and it's now set. Genuine Dell charger held together with sellotape, and the laptop was sold as faulty but working, and there are some issues. If I flip it over, this is the biggest issue. This hinge has kind of completely come out of here. I think the battery's dead, but they said it works on power. It's got a little DVD rewriter, USB, Wi-Fi switch, Firewire, eSATA USB here, and also a broken USB, VGA out, and I think we've got DisplayPort here, power, Ethernet, and it is, apart from the condition being quite poor, it is a Dell Latitude E6400 with Intel Centrino V Pro. Keyboard looks quite okay. Could do with cleaning, as well as this hinge being repaired. It's got one of these middle mouse controllers, a small trackpad, buttons, etc. Clip release here for the lid, fingerprint reader. So it's quite a professional looking laptop, a little bit old, but it'd be nice to fix this as much as possible. And here is a reenactment of me buying this laptop. It's £5, yeah?
Yeah,
Thank you.
there you go. It's a bit broken, but it'll be good to get it fixed.
Cool, thanks.
Right.
Bye.
Yeah.
So let's plug this in. See what happens. That hinge could definitely do with some work. Willis has left. Power goes in over here. Blue light has lit up. Ooh, that hinge is scary. Got a little light here, I'm guessing that's a power button. Quite worn out. And it's switching on. Should I plug it into the monitor to see if anything comes up there? I'm not really hearing much. It's taking about 18 watts from the wall. But this hinge does also look like that is where the main screen connection cable is, so maybe I need to look at the listing again. Although it's Facebook, it's probably been deleted now. Okay, so I'm not getting anything on the monitor, but if I press this button, the optical drive does open, so it is getting power. Let's try holding the power button down. That switched it off. Give it a little bit of time, press it again, and it's making the sort of noises you would expect. There's a fan noise from over here. It's now using about 58 watts from the wall, but I'm not seeing anything on the screen or the video output. Let's try the function buttons to switch between the screens. nothing. I'll switch it off and have a look inside. I mean, it could be that there's no memory in here. Oh, decided to ramp up the fan then. Oh, there's a little bit of something going on with this. Got a SIM tray of some kind here. Windows 7 Pro. And it doesn't look like there's too many screws to take this plate off. Okay, we've got a couple of screws here that line up to this section here, and I think this will be the hard drive. It'll be interesting to see what we've got here. Yep, that just slides out. That is a Toshiba hard drive, and it's got a squiggle on it, and it says it's 250 gigabytes. SATA. So, yeah. Should be okay. Let's take some more screws out. Is that it? What am I missing? We've got a little push thing here that should, I think, let us take the optical drive out, but I think there might still be a screw holding that in. Unless it's all been glued together. Okay, I might need to tack it from the other side. There might be some screws under the keyboard holding it together. That's interesting. This is the connection, I think. It connects the keyboard to the bottom. Not seen that before. It could definitely do with a clean. Okay, so there's a P screw here, some others dotted around. So this should just slide out according to videos on YouTube, but it's not. So I wonder if at some point someone has tried to glue some of this back together and it's spread into other parts of the laptop, because this part here should also slide forwards and it's not. Okay, a little bit of thin screwdriver and twisting action has released it, and now we're in. That also needs a clean. It looks like there's some kind of liquid damage on this side. And yeah, I think this perhaps has been glued at some point, perhaps, because it is real stuck. We've got a Wi-Fi card. We've got memory. Let's have a look what this is. We've got a strange battery that's wrapped in sellotape. think someone's replaced the battery but not bought the correct one and just wrapped it in sellotape. Got a heatsink, lots of dust. It's a socketed processor. See the purple socket. And yeah, let's have a look at the RAM. This. So we've got, oh, maybe this is the video cable here. Quite likely that's makes sense because we've got a display port. And hopefully that's where the cable for the screen goes, because this looks more damaged and maybe this is just Wi-Fi. So that could be good for us. And the memory covered in dust. 1 GB PC2. That's a shame that it's not 2 GB, but I've probably got some somewhere that I could upgrade this. It'd be nice to have 4 GB of RAM in here, assuming that it actually works. So let me clear some of the dust. Okay, so I've reseated the RAM, but I should also check the thermal paste just in case, because it could be overheating and switching off before it's doing anything. And that is all of these screws. So this lifts up. Pretty sure it should just wiggle out if I'm lucky. Then again, maybe not. Oh yeah, there we go. It does wiggle out, and I can unplug that. We've got the processor here, and then we've got this extra chip which just has this thermal pad on. And the processor is a P8700, 2.53 GHz, 3 MB cache, 1066 from 2006, and there's dust around here as well, and not the worst thermal paste, but may as well replace it. Check everything's screwed in properly. Dust is reasonable here, not terrible. Okay, so I've cleaned dust and cleaned the fins over here and straightened some of the bent fins. I've put fresh thermal paste on, and I now need to screw these in and connect this fan. I've also removed this so that we can release any additional dust bunnies from this area. Just mostly little fine hairs, like pet hairs, I guess. Okay, I just want to see if it works, really. That is the main aim before spending more time on this. So it should be possible to plug this in and see what happens. So we've got the light. Let's press the power button. Oh, there we go. It's alive. So let's have a look in the BIOS. Will the keyboard work? Keyboard seems to work. Trackpad seems to work, apart from this drift from the either the trackpad or this middle control. System information, we've got 2 MB of RAM, DDR2 running in dual channel. We've got a Core 2 Duo P8700 at 2.53 GHz. And we've got a 250 GB hard drive. Battery is not connected. Ambient light sensor, LCD brightness, security. It does have CompuTrace, which is deactivated. Performance, multi-core support, speed step. Lots of options here. Although, are these grayed out? Oh, you need to unlock them. You have to do that first, and then does it let you change it? This track thing being like this is quite frustrating. I wonder if it's possible to disable this, because the more I try and use it, the more it drifts. That's super frustrating. Must be possible to disable that, you would think. Okay, let's see if it boots from the hard drive. It's taking a while. So this gives us volume controls. Just switched off, didn't it? As well as some LEDs. Why did it switch off? Is there a problem with the hard drive perhaps? Let's see, F12 boot options. I think we might be having hard drive issues because there's a very slight sort of click that I've heard a couple of times now. What does IRRT mean? Let's try it. I don't think this drive is working unless something's happening. And if something is happening, it's very, very slow. Should have a hard drive light, I would have thought. So I've waited quite a long time. Oh, the hard drive light is flashing. It's still going. It's doing something, but very, very slowly. Let's wait a little bit longer just to see. Oh, we've got a mouse that moves. Looks like some kind of Linux mouse. Oh wow, it's got Linux Mint on it. Wonder what version it is. And maybe the middle mouse is disabled. Neo Fetch, maybe? Yep. Linux Mint 22, Latitude E6400. Cinnamon 6.2. So it's Linux Mint 22 x64. Darker theme, Core 2 Duo P8700, which is a dual core processor. And 2 megabytes of RAM. Let's have a look at top. It says 914 megabytes is used. Does it have... Is the keyboard working? Properly or not? Not sure. I do need to check that. So it could do with being a little brighter, so I'll press function and the brightness key, and we're getting a much brighter display. That is looking pretty good actually. Let's check the keyboard. Control C. Control C, Control V. I don't think Control is working. Function is working. Windows key is working. Could just be that this Control key was quite bent out of shape. Everything else seems to work as far as I can tell in terms of the keyboard, but maybe not this Control key because the keyboard was quite bent. That'll be a shame because Control C is quite useful. Trackpad seems to work left and right. H top, nope, not there. Seems pretty responsive. There's Willis. System monitor. Let's have a quick look at that. Comes up quite quickly. All quite responsive. Normally you'd get an old laptop like this, realize it was running slow because it had some version of Windows on it and only 2 GB of RAM. And then you put some form of Linux on it and say, Linux saved this laptop, isn't it great? But it's already got Linux on, so the person who had this before was one step ahead there. This is 997 megabytes of 1.9 gigabytes. And there's a swap set up. I am concerned about the disk. I could do with checking the disk health. Let's see if this disk tells us. Linux is not Linux. Willis has joined us. Smart CTL should tell us about the disk, but I need to install it first. So I've connected to Wi-Fi. This is someone else's Linux install and I don't know the password, so I can't install software on here. So I may need to do a fresh install of Linux before I'm able to check the smart status of this drive. But overall, I've found out the main things that I wanted to find out. Does this laptop work? Can I connect to the internet? And does the screen work? Does the keyboard work? Most things work apart from the control key. So that is a shame. But perhaps that could be fixed. Perhaps cleaning it or correcting any kind of bend in the keyboard might help. Let's just have a look at YouTube and see if video playback is acceptable. It has slowed down quite significantly with YouTube. Oh, I've accidentally activated the track, the little mouse in the middle, and it does not like that idea at all. Mouse is jumping all over the place and I can't press this reject button. Let's see if we can get to WebGL Aquarium. Nope, it's not going to give us the little fish, which is a shame. We might need to update Firefox before things will start working again. So I've just restarted Firefox and it's using the swap partition, and Firefox is here perhaps, and we might get a better look this time. Firefox is really not doing very well on this system. I've had this before with systems where web browsing can just grind everything to a halt, and I think there were other browsers on here that I could be using, but I think perhaps it's just constantly trying to write to the swap file, and if the drive is on its way out, if it is slow, that is going to slow things down to a crawl, and this is a crawl. This is what is happening now. Okay, I've managed to press the reject button. Let's see if we can actually watch a video. If you've not watched Joe CJ's channel, check his channel out. He's doing some interesting things. Sound works.
This is a PC that's been given to me. It's working. I had to put some memory in it. But as you can see, the front is completely missing. I don't have that at all. I don't have a side panel.
So it's using VP09.
So we've got no front USB.
This is at 720.
I only got 2 SATA slots. So I thought I could try and upgrade this for
It's dropping some frames, but
I have lying around from old systems.
this looks kind of
Luckily,
almost good enough, actually.
the power button is still here. I have to use something, and I can press the button, switch on and work. But thought I'd see what.
Right, that is definitely working okay.
This more useful.
Let's see what the sort of processor usage is at while this is playing. So pretty much almost, well, it was near 100%, but now that it's smaller, it's kind of dipped down quite a lot. 1.5 gigabytes memory used, cached 680, 760 megabyte swap file. This little laptop, I kind of like it. It's worth saving, I think. This Hinge is a problem, so I think I'm going to have to tear it down as much as I possibly can so that I can get a kind of work out how to repair that. Some kind of repair that still lets it sort of fold up and down. That might be quite tricky, but yeah. It's impressive that you can run a system with just 2 gigabytes of RAM, dual core processor, and with an SSD this would be even faster, but I do need to get some more SSDs. So I'll shut it down and I'll start working on this Hinge. It should be shutting down any second now. it's shutting down. And it's off. This keyboard is in quite a sorry state. There's quite a lot of rubber that sort of disappeared around here. Some corrosion over here. And I've kind of straightened this area down around the control key as much as I can, but it's kind of not really very straight anymore. I'm sure there'll be spares available on eBay, but probably, you know, more than the price of a whole laptop. But I'll continue with this and see what we can do. If we can get this hinge to work properly, not be at this odd angle, then we might have a pretty decent little laptop. So this little piece here is missing from this side. I think it's plastic. You can get these on eBay. They're quite reasonably priced. Well, maybe about £5 for two, and then another £3 for postage. But then that's, you know, more than I've paid for this whole laptop. And these are just flimsy plastic, so this is not going to really add the strength needed for this. It's so odd that this has kind of come away from here, and I think someone has attempted to repair it previously, but yeah, this hinge is very stiff. So yeah, it's bending everything around it. I think the hinge on the other side, yeah, isn't stiff at all. But oh dear, yeah, this is not good. I don't know what this bit is, but this has just fallen out. So this kind of needs rejoining somehow. It should be fairly straightforward to take the screen away from the laptop, and that might give us better access to the hinges so that we're not kind of bending everything and making things worse in the process. Does that mean that this is now free, or is there another screw somewhere? Yeah, I think that is now free on this side, except for the cables. And okay, so I think, well, this might all be glued together. Let me see if I can free these cables. So that's the main display cable. I've got a Broadcom connection, and we've got all of these multiple wireless LAN, and then cables also for wireless WAN. But it looks like they're kind of quite neatly bundled together. This might not be as difficult as I thought. So white, grey, black. I suppose I could take the Wi-Fi card out, maybe that's going to be easier. So yeah, it's going to be probably easier for me to take this out rather than at a future point try and remember what order these go in. So these are all grouped in this one cable, so that's good. It's sort of stuck down here. Doesn't want to come out of this last bit. Okay, so is our screen free? Yes, it is, apart from the latch at the front. And we've got our screen. And so this hinge, oh, is that loose in the actual screen as well? Okay, never just the one thing, is it? It's always a little bit more as well. So the hinge broken in the screen. It's quite stiff. It's quite stiff, but it's also quite loose. So it takes a lot of force to move it, and that could be part of the reason why it's probably broken on this side. It's become too stiff. Yeah, that's really stiff. I'm not entirely sure how to loosen hinges or grease them so that they're better. I also don't want to get anything on the screen, but this should probably just click off. Hopefully, unless the screws on the side, it might just click off. We can have a closer look. So yeah, this did just click off. Just kind of some flexible plastic. And yeah, we've got this hinge here, another bit here, and it's just really stiff basically. Let me try putting some sewing machine oil on this bit. I don't know if it's going to work, but may as well try. It's kind of weirdly wobbly. Not really a massive fan of this. I mean, laptop hinges are often an area of concern. Oh, it's still so stiff. Maybe try some more, or leave it to soak. And I think we've also got this part here that should be part of the laptop, and I think might be glued to this metal post, so that needs some attention. It's not just HP that have hinge problems, it's all laptop manufacturers by the looks of things. I've again used a screwdriver to loosen this and get this free from this section, and now that we've got our little broken plastic, we might be able to attach this back to the laptop so that we can attempt to repair it. And I think I might try the, this is so odd, not sure how well you can see that, but what is that? What are these just random pieces of, I don't know what that is. Is it supposed to be there? Is it some kind of blob? Of glue or foam, or am I pulling out a vital part of this computer? I think it's just like a blob of plastic. Then again, it might be connected to something, so maybe I'll leave it alone. I might need to take this apart properly to really see what's going on. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that because I've gotten this far. If I then have to do that for some reason, then I'm going to have to do it all over again, so I may as well just actually take it all apart. It probably makes sense to kind of build this up and glue this from both sides as well without anything getting in the way. Not sure why this won't pull out. Probably glued in place. Hard drive can come out. Not sure what is here. Is this a cover for an optional bit? Might be screws underneath the optical drive, perhaps, that we can't get to because it's stuck. I think this might come away. I think what's happened is a whole load of glue's been added up here where this was broken, and it's trickled down here and glued a lot of this side together. So this should be removable in theory, but I think it's pulling the speaker with it, so that could end up with a dead speaker. And also we've got the optical drive that is stuck in here, and I think this is stuck together because I'm unable to pull this apart so far, and according to a guide I watched online, it should be possible. Yeah, I don't think I was going to take that speaker grill off in that manner. The key must be under this optical drive because there's two screw markings here, so I think there'll be two screws under here, but I think this optical drive has ended up being glued in somehow. doesn't seem to be a super easy way to pry it out unless this is meant to do something. I don't think it does, but yeah, still working on this. My theory is that glue has got into here and got along the side of this optical drive that won't come out. I've tried putting a metal blanking plate thing in here to sort of check or clear anything, and so far that hasn't really solved the problem, so I think it might be sort of down along this bit here, not necessarily in this bit but sort of down the side. Perhaps it's glued to the side there, so I'm going to try nail polish remover along various points to see if that helps remove any dried up glue. Classic. And then I'm just using a little bit of card dipped in here, and then I can direct where it goes. I don't really mind too much if this optical drive dies in the process, because I've probably got a spare that I can put in here perhaps. Okay, that is out. I'm looking for part number. Is this the part number up here? Difficult to read. Dell part number. Maybe. Yeah, not great. But it's out and it's broken. But yeah, that can be replaced. And under here we've got the screws we've been trying to get to for a long time. This one was definitely coated in glue because it just made that loud cracking sound that you get when you release sort of a glued screw. I'm very slowly getting somewhere, I think. We've got the fingerprint reader and starting to come away, but I think it is still kind of glued together. There are a lot of little ribbon cables that look really fiddly, and I'm not looking forward to putting them all back together. Almost down at the bottom. And there's a lot of dust. Is this where the glue has got to? It's a large, whatever that is. These are huge. Why are these so massive? Sticking up there. Pretty grim condition over here as well. All sorts of rusty looking. This is like a... what is this? This is weird. I was trying to remove this thing earlier. I thought that didn't belong there, but maybe it does. It's pretty like, what is going on here? It's like maybe all the glue has spread all over everything. But what even is this? Little port that's also covered in glue. Modem port, perhaps? Well, we've got this separate from the other bit. That took forever. Yep, Willis agrees. That was painful. We can clean things up a little bit. That's quite a nice river line running across here. Interesting. So we can clean this up a bit, but it's this bit over here where we've got, not sure where this little random bit of metal's from. We've got this, which should be like this, I guess. Yeah, this is supposed to be sort of here, but how do you rebuild this when it is so kind of just broken? It's like a hole. Should be more, surely. You're going to be quite tricky, but maybe I'll try the baking soda super glue trick. Would that be a suitable solution if I kept all of the glue in this area? Or is there a better way of fixing that? I'll have a think. Okay, I might try the baking powder and super glue. Apparently it lasts a long time, so I've never tried it before. Maybe it will work. This is the corner that looked pretty dirty, but I've given it a brush and it's looking much better. This area I haven't brushed yet, but quick brush should clean it effectively. This isn't entirely necessary because this is covered up and won't open, but it is getting in the way quite effectively. Maybe I can remove that because it will get in the way. Or maybe it's going to add to the structural integrity or strength of this area. Quite odd. What does it even connect to? Modem connection, and then this just seems to have been glued. That should be plugged into something, shouldn't it? Maybe there isn't a modem. I think that just ended up glued there because the glue stuck it there from whoever tried to repair it previously. Okay, so can I move this out of the way? Yeah, I'll just move it out of the way for now while I clean some more of this. Okay, got my little baby super glue. I'm going to try and glue it in place to get the position right, and then I'm going to try and build up the supporting materials. And already the super glue is going everywhere. Perhaps I should have used the gel super glue. That is a real mess. But hopefully it'll be in the right place, otherwise we'll have a wonky screen. Okay, so I think that's in position. And let's try baking powder and super glue. See what that's like. In hindsight, I should have taken out the circuit board completely. How I've seen this work is that you put the baking powder or baking soda where you want it to stick together. Then you add the glue. That's gone everywhere, that's quite messy. And it forms a solid piece of sort of plastic. That's not really working, is it? It's kind of rolling off the powder. Yeah, it's not really mixing. Maybe you can mix it and then apply it. That's already set. That stuck itself to that plastic thing. Has that worked in there? Wow, that's looking awful. Well, it's kind of worked for this bit because this is rock hard and is now stuck to here. Maybe we'll try a little bit more down this gap here. I think if we got that gap kind of covered. Maybe I'm using the wrong kind of baking powder. Maybe it's meant to be baking soda. Baking powder, baking soda, they're the same things, aren't they? Made a significant mess. So this has made a huge mess. This here is really solid, so where the glue has gone through the baking powder, it has created quite a solid fixture. I think I'll clean this up and see what I can do to improve the look of it. This is where I need to insert a huge disclaimer. I am not repairing this for anyone else. I'm repairing this for myself. This is for my own personal entertainment. This is the first time I have tried using this kind of fix for a hinge. It is not necessarily the best way to do it or the correct way to do it. There's probably much better videos about this, but as you can see, it can go wrong quite easily if you haven't done this before. But I'm going to use a sanding thing to kind of clean this up a little bit. So whilst this does look pretty unappealing, it has filled quite a number of the gaps between this and the chassis, and hopefully that'll mean it's quite strong. This is metal, so it's kind of strange that it has broken, but yeah, hopefully things will be okay. And I can always colour this in with a black marker, and that actually looks pretty good. So, well, maybe not good, but kind of hides the repair quite well. I suspect it's kind of able to absorb the ink. And I'm sure if you've got a huge TV, this probably still looks awful. Maybe watch this on a smaller screen to avoid the horrors of someone colouring in a laptop with a permanent marker. Yeah. I mean, it is a metal body, so sanding does reveal the metal. But maybe when this is all back together, and maybe if I got the cover, you wouldn't actually be able to see what's going on. But not that I am planning on passing this off to someone else. That is not the aim here. It is just to try and make it look more solid. And hopefully this will actually be quite strong. I've given it a little wiggle and it feels solid. Yeah, really solid. So now I need to try and remember how to put it all back together. Minus the optical drive. This could do with a little bit of repair as well to hold that in place. But yeah, I'll see if I can stick a dot of glue on that. Okay, let's put it all back together. I'll probably speed this process up. Guess this is the moment of truth. Should I be waiting 24 hours for this to fully set, perhaps? Looks level enough. Maybe I'll put the screws in, see if that works. Have I used the right screw over here? I don't think I have. These might not be the right screws. Someone might have used the wrong screws at some point, but they don't seem very long either. alignment's going in correctly. And also the bottom needs screwing in. So those screws have gone into the bottom quite nicely. I think I'll put it back together, see if it works, and yeah, fingers crossed. Back to the montage, I guess. Trying not to stress the hinge too much. Almost flush here at the bottom, but not quite. There's probably quite a lot more screws I need to put in. But I think I might just try it. Hopefully, whoa, it's so wobbly, this hinge. Let's try moving it back. That seemed to go okay. We should be able to put the keyboard in. Quite an odd design, but works, apart from this control key. And power. I'll need to look at this another day. I think really I'll just buy a replacement power supply. And power button. Switching on. It's reset itself, that's fine. Keyboard working, or okay, the keyboard's working. Press caps lock and that goes on and off. Boot was quite slow previously. I had the fan spin up at some point. Haven't clicked the front together yet. But I think we might have got some success. Oh, I haven't plugged the hard drive in. So I'll just run diagnostics, see if there are any errors while I continue kind of cleaning it up and putting it back together. RTC battery not detected. Screen's working. I've put this back on. Ironically, I might need to glue it back in place after ripping it off. I've put an SSD in with Windows 10, booted up fine. I can check the temperatures, and I've got admin rights to this install. So we kind of destroyed the optical drive in the process. I should have a spare one that might fit there, but then I don't know if the Dell plate will fit. And I've managed to drop probably quite a lot of screws on the floor in the process. Let's see if control works. Control Alt Delete. No. So Control Alt Delete. Let's check the keyboard. Seem to be parts of the keyboard that aren't working. there were quite a few connections. There's a connection down at the bottom. There's these ribbon cables. I can check those. That's disappointing. Fix the hinge, break the optical drive, this little speaker thing, and the keyboard. Yeah, and I've been working on this for hours now. So yeah, pretty disappointing. May have to look. How much keyboards are on eBay? $430. CPU multi-threaded score. That's gonna be just under the Core 2 Duo E8500. Okay, I'm gonna have another look at the keyboard connections. So a replacement keyboard is around £21. That puts this laptop into the territory of being beyond economic repair, is what they used to say for cars. The problem is you spend, I don't know, £5 on a little hinge, you spend £25 on a keyboard, that's £30, and you could be getting a quad-core laptop that runs Windows 11 on eBay for that price. Lenovo 300E Gen 2. So yeah, it's maybe this could be just used with a external keyboard. It might still be a nice little laptop. But yeah, if the keyboard is gone on this, I mean, the control wasn't working anyway, but if it is gone to the point where it's not even usable, then that makes this a kind of failed repair. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. One step forward, 2 steps back, etc. Guess I'm trying to think of the positives here. Positives might be that I've had a go with gluing something together with superglue and baking soda, and realize that my skills are not particularly good in that area. I guess for a laptop where it doesn't actually matter like this, it's done a good enough job, but perhaps, you know, if it's someone else's laptop, I don't think that's a particularly impressive job. Let's clean this area here. Got some electrical contact cleaner. So I reconnected the cables. I tried to make the keyboard as flat as possible. It might be working again. I cleaned the contacts. What about Control Alt Delete? Oh my goodness. Is Control working? Control. Let's see. Control A, Control C, Control V, Control V. Okay, so that's good news. I'm definitely running out of steam. I think we're gonna call it here. Does still need quite a few screws putting back in. I need to work out how to reattach this. This front needs clicking back together properly. Oh, I need to put this back on. It should just click into place. Oh, it's quite cracked in this corner. It's got a crack here, but it should click. Needs a general clean all over. Should check if Wi-Fi works as well. Yeah, it's detected Wi-Fi networks. Wi-Fi is working. WebGL Aquarium is working. Probably YouTube as well. The keyboard's working. The optical drive, I will try and find one. I also need to check if the battery is going to work. And I think I'll leave it for overnight probably before properly trying the hinge, because those hinges are really stiff. But if I have a functioning laptop, sound still works. If I have a functioning laptop, I really like the look of this laptop, even though it definitely needs fully cleaning. I really like the look of this laptop. And I was trying to use Dell Latitude D630, and I was having issues with that, the one with the pink lid. This is slightly newer, and maybe I'll be able to use this for what I was trying to do with the other one. Yeah, needs a thorough clean and some more attention, and then maybe we'll get a usable laptop. But I'm really pleased the keyboard now works. I've got a screen that works. Yeah, the hinge works. It is so wobbly. There's so much play in that, but actually works. So yeah, hopefully we'll make some more progress on this. Okay, I've stuck this down. It's good enough for now. A little bit of tape there, and this needs a clean, but we got there in the end. It's probably taken me nearly 4 hours to get this far, and it's probably not worth it. You know, you wouldn't take this to a computer shop to get this repaired, I guess, unless there was a sentimental reason. I've plugged the battery in. It says it's charging, so that's good. Temperatures seem quite high. Here's CPU Z. So GM45 chipset, GM47. Memory DDR2 running in dual channel. This is the bench. And it could do with some more cleaning. I should have probably taken out the motherboard completely when I was doing the repair. I've given this a bit of a clean. It could do with more cleaning before I put this back on. But overall, I think it was an interesting project. Always interesting trying things I've never done before. So for that reason, the fixing of the hinge was worthwhile. I might leave this running for a little bit to see what the temperatures end up at. The screen looks pretty good. Brightness is good. It's got a resolution of 1280 by 800. Fan kicks in when it needs to. And we have replaced the thermal paste, so not a bad little laptop. Runs Windows 10, even though it's only got 2 GB of RAM. I could look at upgrading that or putting Linux on here. But yeah, if you've got this far, thank you very much for watching. It's probably been a pretty long one. So to bring this to some kind of conclusion, I've put tape over here to cover this cable to stop it getting damaged. The hinge is working, and I've cleaned it a little bit more, and the laptop is working. The battery actually does hold charge, so it's not plugged in at the moment, but the battery does work. And I've fixed this bit so that if I do get another optical drive, I can take this off, hopefully attached it to the other optical drive and put that back in. But I'm not too concerned about not having an optical drive for this system. I do have 4 screws left over, not entirely sure where they go, but overall I'm quite pleased. The hinge works. It's still a bit wobbly, but at least it looks like it's not that broken. And it does seem like quite a useful laptop. So it's got Wi-Fi and a Wi-Fi switch, USB ports, FireWire, and this is the hinge on the back. So it is a bit messy, but it does work. And of course I could get a cover for this, or perhaps make my own with some plastic of some kind. So all that's left really is to put the back on, which I've also cleaned. And this now slides on and off quite easily. There is no longer glue holding it in place. Here's the how much battery is left when you press this little button, and got a system that runs quite nicely. And I quite like the look of the screen, although it does appear to be flickering on the video. And there's maximum brightness. So yeah, if you got this far, well done. This is one of the longer videos. But really quite pleased that this system is up and running, and for me it's quite usable, and it's nice to have a laptop that's quite solid. They did the E6410 after this, and then the sort of style of these Dell Latitude laptops kind of changed, but there was still a sort of silver back like this with ports and things. So yeah, I do think this is a good style. I do like it. It's very serious looking in my opinion, and in a way it's a shame they didn't continue with this style so much. Nowadays a lot of business laptops all just look the same, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, thanks again, and see you in another video. It's £5, yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you.
There you go. It's a bit broken, but it'll be good to get it fixed.
Cool, thanks.
Right.
Bye.
Yeah.